The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Jaxson Dart to the Jets. He's been listed, according to ESPN NFL Jets insider Rick Spielman, as a name to watch for gangrene. Should the Jets take Dart? We'll talk about that and much more. Robby Sabo joins us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. And I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go on a Tuesday. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you missed the announcement yesterday, we are now allowing all Patreon members who sign up for the year to get 10 entries into the next Asmaniac raffle. Whenever you sign up, whatever raffle's going on that week, you'll automatically be entered. If you're already a Patreon member and you pay monthly, if you upgrade and pay for the year, not only do you now save 15%, but you also will be included in our next raffle, which features Sauce Gardner signed jersey, Nick Mangold signed jersey, and a Jermaine Johnson signed jersey. Shout out to everyone who continues to support the channel. We couldn't do it without you. Let's say hello right now to the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com. He's our guy, Robby Sabo. Robby, happy Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What's going on?
We got a lot to talk about, man. Are you ready for Jaxson Dart speculation from now until April 24th?
What do you think what do you call them? Dart boys? What is it? Barra boys? What do you think the percentage is out there of the Asmaniacs who love Dart?
I don't think it's the majority.
I don't either.
I think it's a vocal minority right now. Maybe like 20%.
Okay, man. You know, those vocal minorities, they're powerful. They really are. So, it'll be interesting. I've started the process to really dig in to look at these top quarterbacks. There's some questions, I think, with some of the guys.
So here's where some of the speculation is coming from, I should say. Rick Spielman of ESPN.com. He wrote this in his weekly news column on ESPN. A name to watch in the draft, Jaxson Dart of Ole Miss. Senior football advisor Rick Spielman raved about Dart last month at the Senior Bowl. At the time, he was an analyst on the CBS Sports podcast with the first pick. This was after his consulting gig with the Jets was over and before he was hired full-time, so he probably felt he could speak more freely about prospects. Quote, I like Jaxson Dart a lot. Better and better and better, Spielman said on the podcast at the conclusion of the Senior Bowl practices. It just looks like the position comes natural to him. He praised Dart's arm talent, saying it was more impressive in person than on tape. He said Dart had the smoothest, quickest release of any QB at the Senior Bowl. Spielman glowed about the intangibles, especially his toughness, leadership, and intelligence. I came away impressed. He said Spielman agreed with the consensus that Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are the top quarterback prospects and worthy of first-round status. But he said Dart could emerge as QB3. I'm going to say this, Spielman said. I don't know if there's another first-round QB after the first two, but the way Bo Nix started to surge last year coming out of this game, I would not be surprised if Dart ends up in the first round. So,
yeah,
your thoughts on Spielman's evaluation of Jaxson Dart. And I also want to ask you about Spielman's opinion that the top two quarterbacks are Shedeur and Ward, but he can now potentially see maybe Dart sneaking into that first-round conversation.
Did Spielman specifically put Shedeur over Ward?
Let's see if there's a quote on that. He said, I don't have in front of me how he ranked them if he did share an opinion on that. It just says in the story that he agreed with the consensus of Ward and Sanders as the top quarterback prospects. Doesn't say if that's the order he has it in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I agree with it. Jaxson Dart, and listen, this is really preliminary. I've only started to really dig into it, but on the surface, he reminds me of Josh Allen in terms of decision making at the college level. His sensing of pressure, his awareness in the pocket isn't top notch. There's some stuff that needs to be done there, but I think people have tried to compare him to Zach Wilson in that regard, and I don't see it. I think clearly in college, Zach Wilson, that was his biggest issue. When pressure came, everything broke down, and we saw that in the NFL. Jaxson Dart is better in that regard, but the Josh Allen in comparison, it's not physical. It's not attributes. It's decision making in terms of forcing the ball. We saw that a lot from Josh Allen in Wyoming, trying to be Superman. And that's where Dart is a little, not polished. So from a decision-making standpoint, I think that's where Dart is, Josh Allen. And that's something with a lot of upside. In the end, and I'll say this right now, I'm not a fan of Shador in terms of where he's getting drafted. I wouldn't touch him in the top 10. Cam Ward, all day, yes. I think Cam Ward is by far the number one guy in this draft. Number two, I don't know yet. I'm not putting Shador there. I mean, from everything I've seen, I just don't like him in that spot. I think he's more in the clump with everyone else. So I don't have a ranking in terms of number two, but the question is going to come down to, do you give up assets to move up to get Ward, or do you drop and acquire assets and drop down for Dart? But I think he will be a first round pick for sure.
It wouldn't surprise me. I just don't want him at 7. I think it's too big of a risk. If you tell me you trade back and you take him, I'm more open to that. Or you trade back into round 1 and you take him. I mean, the Jets are kind of in an interesting spot because they're at pick 7, which feels too high. And their next pick after that's not till pick 42 of round 2, which might be too late if the quarterback hype and just the demand of the position forces Dart to be a first round pick at the end of the day. So they got to really decide, how aggressive do they want to be, either at 7, which I'd be vehemently against, or, going out there and trading back into round 1 potentially, if that's what it takes.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a tricky spot because, on one hand, if you identify your guy, you want your team to go get him no matter what. And if they overdraft him, quote unquote, a lot of this stuff, it's based on mocks. And mocks are kind of ridiculous in nature because we get locked into these certain spots at times in which we really shouldn't. So that's where the overdraft and underdraft comes from. But on the other hand, I get it. It's a risky pick at 7. I think it'll depend on how far up and how quickly he shoots up. That's the big question.
Well, to me, it's fascinating that Spielman gave this opinion because here's the thing. Spielman's not the GM. So we could connect Jaxson Dart to the Jets. Yeah. And we could say, Spielman likes him, but ultimately Spielman's not the GM, so it's not his final decision. It's Darren Muji, and of course Aaron Glenn's going to be on board with any quarterback they're going to potentially take if we're talking about one, especially in the top 7. So here's the question I think a lot of us have. Like, okay, Spielman has his opinion. What if Muji disagrees? Like, you think Muji has final say, but Spielman also helped hire Darren Muji. So does Muji lean on Spielman because he's been a GM in the NFL for a long time? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, also, if the Jets internally really do love Dart, the last thing you want is for positive opinions to keep getting thrown out there so he shoots up the draft. I mean, that's the last thing you want. You want him to stay as low as possible. So a comfortable trade down will make you feel more comfortable. So that's another thing to consider. Are they game planning it that closely knitted? I don't know. Is it too early? Perhaps. They're still evaluating guys internally, I'm sure. So a lot of different angles to consider there.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating just because there's so many unknowns at this point.
Spielman does that podcast weekly, right?
Well, not anymore. He stepped down from it because of the role with the Jets.
Thank God. Okay. That was my next question. I did not know that yet. Good.
Yeah, he's no longer with CBS Sports. Now, these comments, once again, were made in between his role with the Jets as a consultant ending
Yeah.
And before the Jets announced he was joining them full time, before he announced it on that podcast, he was joining the front office full time.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that he was joining, but I did not know where the podcast stood. That is very, very, very good news. And if he didn't step down, I'd have a lot of questions based on, the way Glenn is rolling. No consideration for Rodgers, that distraction, and so forth.
Here's what I'd like to get an answer from you on, Robbie. Would you rather trade up for Cam Ward, or you trade back into round 1 for Jaxson Dart? One obviously costs a lot less, but Cam Ward, you believe, is the best quarterback. So your thoughts on just the gap, I guess, in your opinion, of Dart versus Cam Ward, and then the value that goes with having to trade a lot of draft capital to move up from 7 to number 1 or number 2 to get Cam Ward?
Man, I don't know. That's the question I'm going to be working on this week and next week. It depends on the positioning. I mean, how high do we have to climb for Cam Ward? To what percentage is the consensus in terms of Shador versus Ward 1 and 2 right now? If Shador edges him somehow, then I think I'd rather trade up for Ward. If Ward is the consensus number 1, I'd probably rather trade down and grab Dart. But if Dart's shooting up, nix that, and I'd go in a different direction. Hopefully, the best route would be you find someone on film that you really love that is a surefire second, third round pick. That's a long shot for sure, but I think you really got to try to break that glass open.
Yeah, I just quarterback,
it's tough, man. It's tough.
That high is tough. Look, I'll say this though. If they believe in one of these guys, you got to let them make that deal. But it doesn't feel like you're making that deal for Dart. I think Cam might be the only player they would trade up for. I can't see Shador with the Jets, with the Dion factor. I can't see. You can't sell me on part of the reason you're moving away from Aaron Rodgers because you want to, be all about the team and not have the quote unquote celebrity quarterback. And then you draft Shador Sanders, who just released a music video last week. And I'm not even knocking Shador as a person. Apparently he's a great dude. And I know people that actually met him at Radio Row in New Orleans a week and a half ago and said that he was respectful and an awesome guy. I'm not even knocking him as a human being. It's just there's a lot that comes with Shador Sanders. His last name is Sanders. His dad is one of the most famous football players and coaches in football. So it's, there's a lot that comes with that.
Very true. He is a celebrity quarterback. Even if his personality isn't, and I'm not saying it isn't, but even if it isn't, there's baggage that comes with it. So I agree. I don't see Shador with them, but me personally, my evaluation, I just don't think he deserves the top 10 pick. First round, maybe late first round. Yeah, perhaps. But I think I think he's much closer to the Darts, to the other guys, as opposed to Ward. I think Ward is by far number 1 and no one's close.
New hats from Huga House are available. HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman at checkout. You'll save 15%. If you use the link, though, I have in the description, guess what? You're going to save 20%. So get some brand new hats from Huga House. They have winter beanies as well. Their new performance line is out. Huga House, my official hat. Whether or not Aaron Rodgers is a Jet or not, it doesn't change. In fact, Aaron Rodgers will not be a Jet, Robbie. I don't know if you heard that news.
Who?
HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman, or use my link in the description. Super chats. They cut the line around here. Kakuka Lake Jet fan writes in, Robbie looks worn out already, and it's not even March yet.
Oh, dude, it ain't. I'm worn out 24/7. Come on now. I got a busy life. Life it's a busy world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Turd Ferguson checks in with a $5 super chat. Drafting Dart at 7 would be such a Jet thing to do. He'll be getting called Jaxson Fart in no time. Oh, yeah. First bad game, 3 picks against the Patriots in the home opener. Jaxson Fart, the headline of the New York Post the next day. Book it now.
Listen, Turd. Sean Connery beat your ass every time in Celebrity Jeopardy. Your opinion means nothing.
Daz Acoustif checks in. Is this a euro or a pound super chat of $20 or whatever the equivalency is?
What is that?
Well, I'll tell you what. Daz is in our raffle with this for 5 entries because I see orange, and that's good enough for me, people. First person to enter the raffle is Daz. He has a chance to win a signed Jermaine jersey, a signed Mangold jersey, and a signed Sauce jersey next week at the NFL Combine. Daz writes in, off-season solved. Trade BMAC in a second to Green Bay for Jordan Love. No point in waiting until 2035 to get him. Extend Cheats fan, 3-year extension for 2 pairs of Gourmandis. Cut Beastbreaker 666. Put on a lot of weight last year. What a take. Yeah. And as Maniac Madness is coming, Robbie, the brackets are going to be released on Selection Sunday this Sunday.
I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. It's Bobby Midnight. You're listening. I'm sure you're still my favorite. Don't take, don't be hurt by this, but Gorman has shot up my charts. Like that dude is stellar. Gorman is a stellar as Maniac.
I think you're going to be pleased with where the committee slated Charles Gorman in the tournament.
Good. And Bobby, you're still my favorite. Don't worry.
Bang Mateo checks in. Shador had 60 unpaid parking tickets on campus. No thanks.
Oof. I had like 10 or 11, but that's a whole nother realm. 60.
60 unpaid parking tickets?
Yeah.
They don't tow your car at that point?
Mine never got towed, and I probably reached double digits, just running late to class. You do what you can. Parking's tough in a lot of college environments. But 60 is rough. It is. That's tough. But I don't care about that stuff. Honestly, it is. Is it a footnote? Do you want to know that stuff? Sure. But on the field, I don't know what it is. And this is to be continued. I still got to look more, but he just doesn't. He obviously doesn't have his father's speed. He's an athlete for sure, but he's not he's not the explosive quarterback that I need to see to make your eyes go just crazy to overcome. He's got a strong arm too. Don't get me wrong, but Cam Ward, how he flows, how in tune he is with defensive leverage, his anticipation is worlds ahead of Shador. And I think Shador needs to be, 10 times more in the athletic department to overcome that.
Matthew writes it. Everyone should give some memberships because mine expired. Just like Shador's parking tickets.
Subtle.
Shador's parking tickets.
I think he wants a membership, Jake.
I think he does.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. That's up for the Asmaniacs to do it.
Come on. Who is it? What's his name?
Matthew.
Sounds made up, quite frankly. It might be Beastbreaker.
Matthew Lemke? Oh, he's real, man. Real guy. Real and
Lemke?
spectacular. By the way, Adam clarifies that it is indeed a pound. Adam lives in the UK. I believe, Adam, we met at the tailgate before Jets-Vikings, if memory serves. I remember saying hello to you.
Well, as long as he's not Canadian, because, Team USA versus Canada is coming up, and I just can't handle that.
Yeah, you got the feeling that was coming. I mean, that game Saturday night was classic, and there's no way Canada wasn't winning yesterday.
No chance. So this is going to be epic. Like, I was a kid for the 96. 94 Rangers was that's my top sports moment memory of all time. I think I was 11 or 12. The 96 World Cup is right up there with Leach and Richter. Your favorite hockey players, Leach and Richter. Leach as the captain, Richter, MVP. Tremendous stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Lemke just signed up himself. He doesn't even need anyone to gift him a membership. He doesn't want freebies. Matthew, you're in the raffle for 1. I'm glad you're a channel member. In honor of you, though, Matthew, I'm gifting 5 right now, free of charge. And Matthew, guess what? These are going to be your entries here because you're a loyal supporter of the show. So 5 raffle entries for Matthew Lemke, plus the one he did for himself. So that's 6 total. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm paying it forward on my own damn channel. Here we go. Let's see who got a channel membership. Let's see. The following listeners are now channel members, courtesy of Matthew Lemke, a.k.a. me. EA, KJ42, Rip Dunk, Stern Rips, Mark Senna, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our new channel members. Sam writes in, I watched all of Shador's games. How many of you watched? He is a first rounder.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a first rounder. I'm just saying right now where I am in terms of watching him on film, I think he's closer to QB3 as opposed to Ward. I think Ward is that much better than him.
Ladies and gentlemen, more super chats that cut the line around here. Aaron says, I don't know. I think Sanders is the perfect fit for us. Glenn and Dion have similarities in approach to the game. Shedeur could throw a wide receiver open.
How do Glenn and Dion have similar approaches to the game?
They just both play corner. Is that the connection there, Aaron?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they both played corner. They both played at the same time.
That's really about it.
The New York Giants and the San Francisco Giants have the same team name too.
That's right. They get the dinner every year at the annual giant to giant picnic.
Yeah, there's a 3-legged race and hacky sack. Yeah, elaborate on that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. It could be, but I need some more.
We have some Dart boys in the chat. I don't know if we're going with that officially, by the way. That's just
Dart boys. There's got to be another. There's got to be a better one that rolls off the tongue a little nicely.
We did Bauer boys last year.
Bauer boys was it. That was it.
Yep. Take Dart period at 7.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I hear you, Jake. It is a tough one.
Connor Long writes in, Robbie, I think your mic is hooked up to your computer, not your real mic. Check StreamYard settings.
Check. Let me check it. Connor is my
is your tech savant now too?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, he's right.
Wow.
Look at that.
Let's see the change.
Check.
Oh, wow.
Nice, right?
Yeah. Look at you.
Hey, man. When you see the eyelids halfway closed, Connor, you did your job. Awesome. Thanks, brother.
How about the 13-year-old Connor Long providing tech support for Robby Sabo? Now I can't hear you at all. Robbie?
Yo.
There we go.
Got me?
We got you.
Okay. How's the volume? Solid?
Now you're a little low. Let me do my little setting here for you.
Okay.
Automatically adjust your mic in StreamYard. You'll be good to go. Here we go. Sean writes in, moving on from Rodgers was a good choice. Glenn showing this is his team. Sign Justin Fields and look to draft a quarterback next year. Glenn could show it's his team all he wants. If Aaron Glenn doesn't win games, he's screwed.
Yeah, dude, you got to win games. It is. Listen, when you love Parcells and you want to emulate Parcells in a lot of ways, I understand it. I am Parcells 99% of the way. However, number one on Parcells' list was week to week winning games. He didn't plot out the future. He won games. And it doesn't mean he didn't sacrifice talent at times. He did, but he did it in a way that was sneakier. He did it in a way where his coaching made up the difference. And listen, you don't want a celebrity quarterback. You can't take that to heart totally because, yes, he won with Sims. He won with Hostetler coming in. Got to the Super Bowl with Bledsoe. Was Bledsoe a celebrity quarterback? I guess not. He was the number one pick in the draft. Testaverde, Romo, he was a celebrity quarterback? I would say so. How many times did he protect Lawrence Taylor in the 80s, folks? There's certain things where Parcells was a master in terms of what he would say in words and language and vocabulary. A lot of the things he says conflicts with reality and what he did, and that was intentional. So you can't take it all the way. You understand the theory and practice. Some of the things he says, like you can't. I don't want a celebrity quarterback on my team because it's a teaching thing. He wants his quarterbacks to hear that, but that doesn't mean it always works out in reality, especially in today's game where quarterback means more than any position in any sport ever compared to back in the day.
Dart Dog suggests John LG.
Dart Dogs. I don't know, man.
Dart
it's in
dudes?
the run for sure. Dart dudes.
I think I like Dart Dudes the best.
Dart dudes ain't bad. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number one Austrian Jet fan has gifted a channel membership. He yesterday won a Joe Willie Namath replica Super Bowl III ring in our 15th raffle, and he's in for another entry. By the way, hey, Julian Manfredo, if you're out there, you're the only winner from yesterday I didn't hear from. So if you could reach out and send me your address, I will send you your autographed Don Maynard helmet this week. But you're the one guy I need to hear from. So congrats on winning. Maybe you missed the show yesterday. If you're watching, please shoot me an email, asmanjake@gmail.
The Maynard helmet, does it have the single bar like Maynard
It
wore?
does. It does actually. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's
That
pretty
is
sick.
awesome. That is awesome.
Philly Noodles. I can't read that super chat. I don't know what's it in reference to, but thanks. Aaron says, as far as coaching styles, holding players accountable can relate to players. The spotlight will be on the coach. Shador can find this familiar. So that's Aaron's comp for how Glenn and Dion are similar. Your thoughts, Robbie?
Yeah. Dion, listen, he might know Dion's coaching better than me. So I'll default to Aaron, but I could see it. I could see it a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from the big fellow. We are the Dart Dudes. Just Jets have to take them. Dart Dudes.
Yeah, Dart Dudes. I saw Dart Dopes as well. That's it's in the top 3, I would say. But Dart Dudes, I think Dudes fits it fits that style of person too. And he's kind of that guy, Jaxson Dart. Not a California guy, I don't think, right? Utah. But
he played at USC before transferring.
He did, that's right. So, he's a dude. And his followers are dudes. I think it makes sense.
Jaxson Dart. The Dart Dudes. All right. We started it here on the Jake Asman Show. The Asmaniacs have done it again.
Yes, it's going to roll.
Adam checks in with a $2 super chat. It's not actually $2, though. We learned that this is actually the pound sign. I am a proud Tet truther. He is pick at 7. I like that pick.
Yes.
Kyle Clifton wants to go with dart throw. Should we go with dart throwers over dart dudes? I like the alliteration, but dart throw is kind of a play on his last name.
Dart throwers is not bad. It's not bad.
We should probably run it to a poll. Those are the top 2: dart throwers versus dart dudes.
Yeah, dart throwers is the smarter name, but it's not as obvious. It doesn't refer to a collection of people, I think.
We'll run it up with the poll. First, your thoughts on Tet as a possible option at 7 for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid. It's like I'm still so not specific in terms of who they might go for. Right now, it's more so I want to know their theory. I kind of want to know which direction they want to try to push. Are they looking to trade down? Trade down is still, knowing Glenn loves Parcells, I would say trade down is a big time leader in the clubhouse. Collecting those assets, especially with Rodgers gone now, making that move. So, talking about throwers, throwing darts at the wall, I would say trade down is my top choice right now.
What should Jet fans that want Jaxson Dart be called? Dart dudes, dart throwers. Ladies and gentlemen, the poll is officially live.
Big Dudes is going to win by a landslide.
You think?
Yeah.
Over the throwers. Interesting.
I think so. I've been known to be wrong in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Twice, I think.
But I've been wrong many times. I thought the Jets were going to be good this year, last year. I'm done.
I went, 10-7 this year before the season. Second to Buffalo. I just didn't trust the coaching, but still, that was 5 games off. So that was one of the 2 times I've been wrong in my life.
One of the 2. Burkinator with a super chat. Dart dopes, please do this right. Beef up both sides, interiors, build around the interior for the future. Please don't jet this.
Yeah, that's another thing. I have no pause in terms of Glenn wanting to build from the inside out. No pause. He will absolutely try to do that.
Dart douches. We can't go that one. Dart delusion.
That could be a tag within the Dart Dudes world.
Someone wrote dart bags. That's kind of funny.
Dart bags ain't bad, dude.
Dart dog, says Frank P.
Yeah, dart bags is solid.
More super chats here. Connor Long spending his allowance money. He super chats us. Dart went to the same high school as Zach Wilson, LOL. Hashtag QB5. He also wears number 2 like Zach Wilson.
Yeah. He also wears a football helmet like Zach Wilson. And they're both righty, too. Connor, you got Dart as QB5 right now?
5.
Who's 3? Name 1, 2, 3, and 4? I'd be curious on that.
Oh, I have it right here. Connor Long's guys with draftable grades. Tyler Shuck, Curtis Rourke, Jalen Milroe, Dalen Gabriel, Jaxson Dart, Kyle McCord, Shador, Will Howard, and Cam Ward.
That's the order?
I guess. Connor, when did you have time to watch 9 quarterback prospects on film?
That can't be his order.
I think he's very much down on Jaxson Dart, and he believes in Will Howard.
He's got Howard number 1 ahead of Ward. Oh. Dart Disciples ain't bad either.
Ooh, Dart Disciples is not bad.
Yeah.
Might have to adjust the poll to have some more options here. Dart Dudes, for what it's worth, is destroying dart throwers. So
yeah, what is it, 90%?
Not quite. 64 versus 36.
Oh, it's closer than I thought. All right, Kyle, I tip my cap to you. But yeah,
Bo says Dart farts. Yeah, if he sucks, that's what we're gonna be saying.
Yeah, Gorman might say that.
He's Charles Gorman's pick for who the Jets should draft. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, Dart's interesting. He's polarizing for sure. And we remember a lot of guys who are polarized. Josh Allen was polarizing.
Sure.
I remember Jamal Adams mocking him on Twitter, saying he was going to pick him off and this and that, retweeting film room stuff, tape of him in college, throwing inaccurate passes. It's don't be so quick to mock. There's some good stuff there with Dart.
Ladies and gentlemen, more super chats. Bino checks in. In my opinion, if they want Dart and not at 7, a trade back to the latest 15, because I think Seattle or the Rams will take him, and he's gone either way in the top 20, in my opinion. He could be. It depends how these other teams feel about him. Remember a couple of years ago, the Kenny Pickett year, you had all these guys that were, they were going to sneak into the first round. You had one quarterback going round 1 in the 20s. Pickett went to Pittsburgh, and none of the other guys, Hal, Malik Willis, none of these guys went till day 3 after that.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful when a quarterback class is considered thin, because there's ample opportunity to snag a guy that's just not lighting it up in terms of the scout's eyes. And there's ample opportunity to screw yourself. And guys will shoot up. I mean, the Pickett year was definitely an outlier. Gun to your head, Jake, where do you think Dart is mocked by the time we get to the draft?
Some will have him in the top 10, but I don't think he's going to go in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be around the 20 pick, speaking of Rodgers, like Rodgers-esque, not where he falls, but he eventually shoots up to that area.
That wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah.
Dixon checks in, more like Dart's dingleberries.
Man, the syllables, dude. Syllables.
Dixon, thank you for spending $2 on that one. Burkinator says, and there are guys like Howard and McCord who can get in the later rounds. Please do this right. I have no issue if the Jets decide we're beefing up the trenches and we'll get our developmental quarterback later on. I'm fine with that. Don't force a quarterback pick if you don't believe in someone.
Agreed. If trading up for Ward is too costly, just pass on it. Trade down, grab extra assets, and go from there. Parcells, remember, he did that, when he first started with the Jets. He did it. And it, interestingly, when you look back, the package wasn't as crazy or extravagant as it would be today, if I remember correctly. It wasn't that much when you look back at it. At the time, I don't think we thought that. But now when you look back at it, it wasn't. But now, trading back from 7, depends where you go. Defensive tackle. I think Glenn, everyone's asking what the number 2 need is right now, or the top positional need other than quarterback. Defensive tackle. Balance, the way you coach it, getting those 2 gappers. And don't confuse 2 gapping with 3-4. You need, if you're a balanced guy, if you're not Salah, where you just rely on downhill, gap attacking, 4-3 aggressive, just one mindset. If you're more of a balanced guy like Glenn is, you're going to want 2 gappers. And that doesn't mean 3-4 D tackles. It doesn't mean traditional nose tackle. It means D tackles who could play a variety of ways, where they could 2 gap it, keep their shoulders squared at a line of scrimmage, and not necessarily go downhill and instead eat up space, depending on the call.
John writes in with the super chat. Thank you, John. Trade down and target defensive tackle Grant. Jets need fatties to stuff the run.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. At D tackle, they will draft D tackles, at least one, most likely more than one. I guarantee it. There's no doubt about it.
Super chat here from Bang Mateo. I want the quarterback that makes javelin throws, not just darts.
Hey. Okay. Hey, Bang, who's your number one quarterback? Is it Cam or Shador? I got a feeling he's going to say Shador is his top guy because it feels like the flashy consensus big name guy Bang would go with.
Austrian Jet fan says how they go about free agency will show draft intent. That's part of it.
Yes.
But they're going to add a quarterback in free agency no matter what, and that doesn't preclude them from still potentially taking a quarterback early in the draft if they like someone.
Yes. Yeah, and defensive tackles, you know what? Bad job by me. Who's available free agency-wise, defensive tackles? I got to get on that. I don't think there's much, but even if they sign a guy or two, which I expect them to sign a vet or two in between, they're still going to draft some guys. There's no question. They are so one-dimensional from a D-line and linebacker perspective that it's scary. And I don't know if we talked about this last week, but Sherwood and Quincy just don't make sense together. They need a thumper, a heavier guy to play next to Quincy, or they could trade Quincy and keep Sherwood, re-sign Sherwood, and get a heavier guy. That's going to be the tone for Glenn on defense this offseason. Make it more balanced. It can't be one gap up front. It has to be two gap, and it can't be all athleticism and pass coverage on the second level. You have to have fill and spill guys, like heavier guys like Campbell in Detroit. So I think that's something to look out for.
South Philly is in our next raffle. He has gifted a channel membership, baby. South Philly's membership went to AR. Congratulations to AR. And South Philly, for those who missed it yesterday, he won the autographed Aaron Glenn card that I will be sending out this week.
Upper Deck.
South Philly, right here.
Upper Deck, Panini, Tops. What do you got?
Little Panini autograph card right here.
Panini, man, when did they explode? I remember when I was a kid, it was all Upper Deck, Tops, Don Russ. There was a bunch of them. But I think Tops and Upper Deck, like those 88, 89 baseball Tops, I had the whole set. Panini, I'm an old man. I don't even remember Panini breaking out at any point.
Ladies and gentlemen, Islip Jet Fan is in our next raffle. He is gifted a channel membership. Listener Sco is the recipient of the gifted membership from Islip Jet Fan, who's in the raffle. We need all the raffle entries we can get, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Matthew checks in. I like the idea of a fullback clearing the way for Brees. That's his free as Maniac Super Chat for becoming a member. Well, I don't know how many people saw this. Kind of flew under the radar during Super Bowl week. But the first transaction that Darren Muji made as GM was to sign a fullback.
I love it. I like it. I love it. I think every team should roster a fullback.
Andrew Beck, they signed to a reserve/future deal. He played for the Packers and Texans this past year.
Nice. Yeah, I think, listen, I know it's tough with the 53-man restriction. What is it, 47 now on game day? I love the idea of having a fullback on the roster with that flexibility, or a tight end who's great at fullback with the lead blocking, who has an idea. We could play a little H-back. But as long as it doesn't mean you're trying to shove, ground and pound, and rushing the ball down my throat, you got to be more versatile in today's game. But having
no one
said
shoves anything down to your throat.
Did I say that? Shit. Yeah, don't clip that, please, everyone listening. But yeah, no, love fullback on the roster. Love it. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lup Man delivers. The first person to get the 5 spot this show.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
I guess kind of true. I'm not counting the 5 I gifted earlier. But Luppy, you're in for 5. Thanks for paying it forward. And the following 5 people are now channel members, courtesy of Luppy, Jimbo, Anthony Kubinski, Aaron Hornor, JV Free, and Burkinator47. Burkinator has been active with the super chats today, so cool to see him get rewarded by the algorithm there. Comments, questions, super chats for Robby Sabo and I to answer. Let's open up the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline, and let's check in for the first time today with none other than the great David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit. Jake and Robbie.
David T, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I've been sitting here laughing. You're talking about Dart. I was brought up Catholic, which means you get a confirmation name. So
Yeah.
my initials are David Anthony Richard Taddeo, and it's kind of weird. When I was a kid, my cousin gave me a bicycle, and I actually put that on. That was the name of my bicycle, Dart.
Wow, I
So-
love that.
That is cool. Here's the question then. You might be the almighty power here in terms of what happens. Do you like Dart to the Jets or no?
Not in the first round, Robbie. Maybe like you guys were saying, maybe if they trade down into the first round, but and I'm glad Jake's going out to the combine next week. I'm looking forward to the interviews and everything, but I want to ask you guys specifically quarterbacks. How does that work? Do the players have to be invited to the combine, or how does it? They do.
Yep. It's the NFL's got to invite you. They have their own people that evaluate. They consult with the draft people, the top guys. They ask college coaches about certain players. But the NFL is involved in putting together, a list of all the attendees who go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dart is in play. Like I said, not at number 7, but my hope is, and you guys have talked about this already, like in the combine, and the quarterback workouts and all that kind of stuff. Each and every year, a couple of them creep up, unexpectedly. So I'm just hoping there's going to be more candidates. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I hear you, and I don't blame anyone for not wanting Dart at 7. It's a hell of a ballsy move, no question at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and especially if he's a bust and he has my initials, I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I would look at him like Zach Wilson's brother.
You'd have to zoom out a little, no question.
Just one other thing, Jake. Last night I come home from work and I put your show on. I was working. I missed your second show, so I put your show on, and you guys were talking about another taking me down memory lane, Al Toon. And I look back and I had a white Al Toon sweatshirt, and between playing playground football and I think I ended up cutting the sleeves off and just spent that Al Toon shirt, spent many hours on the basketball court, because we used to spend a lot of hours playing basketball, and so I just thought Al Toon was a wonderful player.
Wait, you guys talk about Toon. Toon was my first, when you're a kid and you hear names your dad talks about, and you watch him on TV. He was my first favorite player, him and Barry Sanders. And dude was unbelievable, Toon. It's just such a shame that the injuries got to him.
Yeah, the concussions, right?
Yeah. It was, little kid, 9, 10 years old. Loved that guy. He was, and I caught him towards the end of his career too. I didn't even see 86. I was too young for that.
Yeah, he was terrific. And I can remember, and I go way back, Robbie, and I'm not sure if they were the exact same type players, but back in the Namath days, they had a tight end by the name of Richard Castor.
Yeah, Castor's up there.
You know, and he was another terrific tight end. You know, but Tune was the man for sure,
Tune was
or
great.
is the man. You know,
Yeah.
so
And Castor, Jets all-time tight ends, it's got to be Schuler, Castor, and who am I forgetting? The guy who came before. There's one
Beck.
more.
Was it Anthony Beck?
No. There's a clear all-time. Someone will shout it out in the comments.
Okay.
But there's a top three that's clear. But Castor's definitely up there.
Yeah. Back in the Namath days, and boy, he used to catch some long balls from Joe. That's for sure.
Yeah,
so,
he was solid.
He was athletic. Yeah. So thank you for giving me the time, and that's all I got.
David, you're one of the greats. Keep up the great work.
Oh,
yeah,
Jerome Barkham was the
Jerome Barkham.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. I remember him well.
Yep.
Yeah. But not to be compared with was it Baxter or Baker? He was like
they had Fred Baxter, Chris Baker, Brad Baxter, fullback, early 90s. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They had some Baxters.
Yeah, but the first three that you mentioned are really super tight ends. But I still think that Tune was my favorite all-time tight end.
Yeah, Tune in terms of pass catchers, receivers, he's got to be 3 all time.
Was he? He was a tight. Yeah, so he was a tight end, right?
He was a receiver, Tune.
Yeah, he was a receiver.
I'm sorry. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T.
I got my INUG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
The great David T.
That's great. I can understand him thinking he was tight. I was trying to ease him to the receiver, but he was a big receiver especially back in the day.
The thing with Tune, the injuries, man.
Yeah, it was the injuries.
He was on a Hall of Fame arc if he could stay healthy.
Yeah. He was right up there with Jerry Rice. At 86, it was Rice and Tune. It really was. When you go back and look at it, they were that damn good. That Jets offense. I mean, Kenny O'Brien was running for his life most of the time when you go back and look, but still the offense was tremendous.
I have been trying to get a signed Tune jersey to use for a raffle, but there's nothing online. I couldn't find it anywhere. There's some signed helmets and stuff, but I was trying to get a jersey to go with our jersey theme for the giveaways here, but couldn't do it. Yeah,
it's tough. I love Tune so much. We have a dedicated, and we have like 10, 12 legends. We have a dedicated Al Tune page at Jets X Factor. So go check it out.
Tune. Bang Mateo with a super chat. Cam 1, Shador 2, Howard 3, Dart 4, Quinn Ewers 5, Gabe 6. I'm guessing that's Dylan Gabriel. A nice job, Bang Mateo, getting that all in for $2 there by abbreviating.
Bang, I respect
$3. Yep, I respect your ability to condense those thoughts to fit it on a $2 super chat.
Yep, and I respect the ranking, so I like it.
Cincy Matt in the house seems like a strong possibility. Titans look to trade out of number 1 pick. How possible is that? This new regime is that aggressive to make that move? I personally, 7-1 by trading up.
I don't think there's much of a chance, if any.
I'd be surprised if they did that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's about assets right now. It's about bodies. It's about, it's about line. Like if you're a hockey fan, expect a mass line change in terms of this roster, not because of talent. Talent isn't the reason. Expect a mass exodus and, flipping it over for everything other than talent. The coaching, the coachability, the accountability, all that stuff. And hopefully it doesn't decrease the talent too much. It shouldn't. And that is, if that's the intent, they want more assets. So trading up to 1, I just don't see it.
Peter Castro says Dart goes first. Peter, if Dart is the first overall pick in the draft, I will send you a $500 Alan Lazard style check to your home estate because that's not happening.
Not happening unless something happens to Cam Ward, like, something tragic, which obviously will not, and we hope not. But no, Cam Ward is leagues ahead of everybody. I mean, even if you love Shador, it would be a far fetched shot that Dart goes ahead of Shador. Even though I think those two are closer than Ward and Shador.
I don't see any quarterback besides one of those two being the first off the board.
Listen, I'd put it at 90%. It's Cam. I'd be surprised if it's not Cam at this point.
Bino says we took Toon 6 picks ahead of Rice.
Yes. Yep. Kenny B over Marino and Al Toon. And listen, it's not a bad pick. It's he was on that trajectory. I mean, listen, put Toon in San Fran with Montana and no injuries. What does he do? He's pretty damn epic. It's tough to say he could replicate Rice, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
No.
Greg Scott writes in, trade a fourth for Zach Wilson. Kid spent some time with the master, Sean Payton, giving him a chance with a good O-line. Farewell, Greg.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
See ya. By the way, Zach Wilson's a free agent, so you don't even have to trade anything, let alone a 4th-round pick. So more than what the Jets got when they dealt him with it. 2 years still left on his deal at the time. Or a year left on his deal, I should say.
Yeah, listen, everything that went wrong for Wilson here was between the ears. And that is the exact opposite guy you want to bring back, especially to this market. So, no chance.
King Lowski says, stop talking about that damn child.
Zach Wilson? Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Excuse me, miss. I need to return this damn child. He's no good. Sometimes a child just is no good. Take this one back.
Yeah, dude, it's it's not gonna happen. I mean, I am interested to see where he goes, though. That'll be something to watch.
There are a couple of Dart names that we can't say on the air that are being chatted in, but I see it all. John has a question for you, Robbie. He wants to know when the Jet X Factor offseason simulator is happening.
Oh, dude, John. It's late this offseason, and there's very good reason why. I am working on it as we speak. I work with I do some web development. I'm not a developer by any means, but I know code enough to try to update it. So stay tuned on it. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully we can get it out, before the month ends, but no promises right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're accepting raffle entries. If you want a chance to win a Sauce signed jersey, a signed Mangled jersey, a signed Jermaine jersey, and another New York Jets Super Bowl III replica championship ring. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out there and he's ready to unleash the beast.
Beast Breaker.
Beast, how are you?
Okay.
Those are Dusty Rhodes. Those are Dusty Rhodes punches, my friend.
Now you're talking something, baby. Come on now. That's a mean hook. That's a mean cross. Tom Ace, you're right. That That is the Fury, baby. Now, let's break some ice, shall we? That's just not just one thing. Hey, Jimbo, you want to get in the ring? Come here. Come here. Come here. I want you right now. Get your ass over here. Get your ass over here. Big fella, stand back. Some people gotta learn. You want to play with fire? You want to step in the ring? Get on. Get on the train. Or get off the train. Choo! Choo! How many imaginary people, huh? Imaginary people? You wish you guys could fill my shoes, but I don't think you can. Just because I wear Adidas, nice little loafers, and some Vans, I look good. And to Gator, thank you for the music. And remember, thank you very much indeed. Now, let's move on to the next caller. Shall we?
Hey, Beast, give us a Garrett Wilson catch. Robbie hasn't seen it.
No, I have not.
Oh, boy. Get ready. Get ready. Let's go. All right. You ready? And 3, 2. Here, John back. He's going to go. He's going to go. Touchdown! Yeah!
What'd you think? I think Garrett would have been proud with that performance.
Yeah, no water beds for Beast, please.
That's a good point as well. Some super chats that came in. Kikuka Lake says, I see bed bugs on them. John wrote, Flabs of Fury. LMAO. Get the man an oxygen tank.
He really had the Dusty Rhodes for all you old school. He had the Dusty Rhodes punching going. Late 80s, Dusty Rhodes was wearing, he was the American Dream, Vince branded him as. And he was wearing yellow polka dots, black trunks with yellow polka dots. Beast, do not emulate that, my friend.
Super chats keep coming in here. John said, or actually, I read that one. Arthur says, no QB first round, please. That's how a lot of fans do feel.
Yeah, it's you could see it's tough. You could see them wanting to target a quarterback in this draft. Yet you could also see, and it would be a replica of 2009. It really would, with Favre leaving, grabbing Sanchez. Or you could see Glenn taking the patient Parcells approach and trading down, which, they probably won't win too many games next year. But that's the conflict right now. That really is which strategy do they take? And they're completely contrasting strategies. I would argue if you trade down and acquire assets and don't go quarterback, don't waste a pick on a mid-round quarterback if you don't love him. The only way you should do that is if you really love him and you really think he has a chance to make it. Don't waste that pick. Be smart about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Burkinator with a super chat. A challenge to Beast, if you will. If Beast does one more Garrett Wilson catch, he's going through the attic floor. Beast, what do you say you prove Burkinator wrong? Give us another Garrett Wilson catch and prove to him that your mattress can handle it.
You know what time it is? A Beast Breaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gobble.
Get ready. Let's go. 1, 2.
That's sturdy, man. That's a sturdy frame.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gobble-goo.
He proved the haters wrong, Sabo.
Dude, Nick Dow has the comment of the century. He makes grilled cheese at night. I'm not even going to expand upon that, but those who get it. It's brilliant.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a performance by Beast. Philly's Limp Noodle checks in. Beast Belly is always the first thing in the room.
His belly is it's a separate organism unto himself, I must admit.
Peter Castro's comment is just blump.
Is that a new word?
Burkinator, you got owned by Beast. You said if he did the Garrett Wilson catch again, he'd go through the attic floor. Beast did not. So suck it, Burkinator.
It's a win. You didn't go through the floor. It's a good way to start the day.
Let's see. Burkinator did acknowledge his wrongness. He goes, I stand corrected. There you go.
About what? I might not have been paying attention.
Burkinator is the one who challenged him.
Yeah, you get your ass kicked, dude. Don't do it.
Gator wants to know, Sabo, who are your top 3 bridge quarterbacks for the Jets to bring in that are not on the roster now?
In terms of free agents, I guess, man, it's a terrible conversation. I saw a little bit of was it yesterday with Kirk Cousins? Who's the dude you had on who loved Kirk Cousins? Jake.
Who's the dude that loved Kirk Cousins? Oh, Ryan Sampson.
Sampson, yes. I don't know, man, about Cousins. I really don't. I think why bring in Cousins with the Achilles if you're just going to get rid of Rodgers? I understand the money difference, and that's a huge deal. But Fields, do you consider Fields a bridge? I know it's very unlikely based on his age, based on the money. But in terms of pure bridge quarterback, I would prefer Fields for the upside. I know he's 100%. Not a great thrower. What's that?
Maybe he gets better. Yeah, and he's young and he's mobile. Like, you can win games.
He's not my type of quarterback. Yeah, he's not my type of quarterback, but he intrigues me in terms of bringing him in for 1 year, molding a specific offense around him. Now, how much does that lower the ceiling for other guys like Garrett and whatever? I don't know. I don't think it's a long-term thing. Does it hurt you in the long run, or can Engstrand flip the offense after 1 year and go to something different? There's a lot to think about, but I'd say Fields is the top guy.
For me, Fields is right there. Jameis is right there. Carr is even right there.
I would probably go Jameis.
Once again, I'm someone who wanted Rodgers, so I think these options suck. Too. But I'm just trying to make the best of what the Jets have decided they want to do.
Yeah, me too. And I think I'm in lockstep with you. Fields and Jameis are probably 1, 2. Carr and Cousins, I don't think there's a third from you right now. I think Carr and Cousins are well below that.
Jameis is growing on me, man. He's a friend of the show.
Listen, there's a reason why he got drafted where he got drafted. Hey,
Jameis, would you come to the Jets? They might need a quarterback. Jets, Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, our exclusive interview with now friend of the show, Jameis Winston.
He didn't hesitate.
We need him.
He didn't hesitate. And something about Jameis is, yeah, he is who he is, but a lot of who he is could potentially be correctable under the right system, in the right structure, with the right coaches. So Jameis and Fields are up there. They're very close, neck and neck.
One last super chat for you, Robbie. Big fella writes in, Robbie, what are the chances Fields comes to us?
I don't think it's high. As you said, Jake, I think
they're going to be priced out. I think he's going to have opportunities where he's guaranteed more playing time and probably more money.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. I don't think it's likely, but why I brought up Fields, especially last week, is I could see Glenn wanting to go down that route, and it scares me a little bit that Glenn might lock himself into that type of offense. But I could see it.
Yep. If they get him, I'm not going to be mad. I'd be a little surprised. Robbie, JetsXFactor.com. Why is it the best website that's ever been created for any Jet fan?
Oh, no reason. It is. Some things are just the way they are, Jake, and that's the way it is. Like Beastbreaker. He is who he is, and we accept it. That's Jets X Factor.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Check it out daily, folks. They got great team. Robbie, Nania, Blewett, Ripka.
Yes, sir.
Fialco.
Yes, sir.
Long.
Yes, sir.
I know Brandon left, but he's
Yes.
still part of the Jets X Factor universe.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
Um,
We got along with Stefan Stelling. We got
Stefan.
Oliver Cochran. We got a bunch of good people.
You guys are hiring Beastbreaker as well?
Yeah. He's going to. I don't know his role yet, but got something in the works.
All
Got
right.
something. And by the way, the simulator for anyone listening, since the Asmaniac is an expansive universe, any developers out there who could, handle JavaScript and CSS and want a quick gig, freelance gig, just want to update a current structure. You don't have to create anything new. It's just updating with APIs and stuff. Shoot me an email. It's a nice paying job for not much time.
I love it. I don't know what that means, but that sounds good to any nerds out there, essentially.
It'll save me a lot. It'll save me a lot of time. It'll allow me to break down film and write content instead of worrying about that.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Robbie, God bless you. Thanks for hopping on.
All right. Later, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Sabo, JetsXFactor.com. More of your calls, more of your super chats, more of your raffle entries. If you want in on the show, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are presented today by BetUS. They've been my go-to sports book on the Jake Asman football show, and I want to make sure I plug them right here, right now. Look, football might be done, but there's still plenty of other sports going on. We got, of course, Team USA hockey on Thursday against Canada for the championship up in Boston. You could wager on that. You can wager on the NBA once basketball returns. Knicks in action against the Bulls on Thursday. You can wager on that. Any sport, they have it. Future bets, parlays, you name it. BetUS has it. Well, right now, you could get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus with your second and third deposits. So check it out. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring the Jake Asman football show. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is open as well. So let's say hello right now to Chad Jett, who's next. What's up, Chad?
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
How are you, man?
Oh, man, long time no speak. I kind of tuned the Jets out second half of that season. Well, last quarter of the season.
Sometimes I wish I could do the same.
Dude, I have to make a observation of what I see going on among Jet fans. And if we take a look at this new regime, I mean, I see a lot of conversation around we need a bridge quarterback. We need someone who can bring, a rookie along. Like everyone realizes we had Aaron Rodgers on this roster, right? Like all this conversation of we need a bridge quarterback, maybe Kirk Cousins. How about Aaron Rodgers? Like if we think about a year ago, we were having a conversation where, hey, if A-Rod tosses 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns, probably win 10, 11 games. Well, guess what? He tossed 3,800 yards and 28 touchdowns. Why didn't we win 10 games? We didn't win 10 games because our defense took a massive step backwards, in part because Joe Douglas dismantled the defensive line for no apparent reason. So we're sitting here, and it's like we had this failure of an experiment with Aaron Rodgers, but we're left with a gift. And the gift is you have a guy who's a Hall of Fame quarterback, who's been here now for 2 years, who has 1 or 2 years left. And instead of using that to bridge to the future, the Jets are like, nah, hold my beer. Let's do the same thing we've done repetitively. Let's bring in a first-time head coach and a first-time GM and a first-time offensive coordinator, and let's draft a quarterback. I mean, Jet fans sitting here going, oh, let's go Kirk Cousins. It's like, why? And what makes anyone think Kirk Cousins wants to come here? Did anyone see his face when he was benched for Michael Penix last year? He was pissed. The dude wants to play. He doesn't want to be a bridge quarterback. He was unhappy. He didn't have the reaction Jameis had to you when you asked him. I'll tell you that right now. People talking about Justin Fields. Guys, Justin Fields sucks. He was benched on a 4-1 football team. He sucks. I mean, what does that say? Like, the dude was on a 4-1 team and was benched. There's a reason for that. There's a reason the Bears let him go. Guys, I just don't understand why Jet fans are sitting here signing up for the same old routine When we had, like, if they look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy, because if you talk about this, it's like, oh, you're an Aaron Rodgers super fan, MAGA, this, that. Like, everyone goes fucking insane, right? Look, the bottom line is they had a freaking Hall of Fame quarterback who wanted to play another year or two, and instead of taking that gift, the Jets tore it up, and everyone's focusing on Aaron Glenn. People should be focusing on Darren Muji, because he's the guy that has to make these picks ultimately, and he's the guy who has to execute the plan. I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with Aaron Glenn right now. Aaron Glenn, yeah, he's part of it, but it's like
they're not going to make a move though without Glenn being on board.
Of what people are doing. Yeah. Anyway,
look, Chad. I mean, I did everything possible to state my case on this. I agree with everything you said. It's very frustrating. I just hope they have a good plan. That's it. Hopefully they get it right.
I just hope we don't. I mean, look, the A-Rod ship has sailed. For whatever reason, the Jets are doing what they're doing. And I'm not sitting here saying A-Rod is like this high-level player anymore.
No, but he's their best option for sure.
Yeah. And everyone's like, A-Rod sucks. But he doesn't. Like, realistically, he's not elite, but he doesn't suck. Like, anyone can objectively look at that and
he's
say,
probably about an average quarterback, but in the right scenario, he's their best option. And I think, there's legit optimism that another year removed from the Achilles, just like people are arguing for Cousins for that same reason.
Right.
Like Rodgers would be better from that standpoint as well. Especially, look, people will bring up the cap stuff, and I get it. He was willing to take a pay cut. And if you're going to have a rookie starting in 2026 anyway, I don't really care about the salary cap ramifications. Denver just proved you could get away with it if you have Bo Nix starting. You're not worried about $89 million in dead cap for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and what's the alternative? Like, the alternative is what? Tyrod Taylor? Okay, cool. I like Tyrod Taylor as much as the next guy, but he can't stay healthy. Like, the whole point here is to not have your rookie. You want to draft Dart, great. I think we all agree that Dart should not be starting in his first season. Nope. So, like, like, they should easily be paying that money. And people are like, oh, the locker room. It's like, guy, I'm sorry to be the guy to say it, but like, who gives a shit? Like, the same locker room who's never made the playoffs, the same locker room with Sauce Gardner who throws temper tantrums every 5 minutes. What, Quinton Williams with his thumb down? Who cares? Like, what have these guys ever done to establish that we should believe or listen to what they're saying about anything?
Those guys wanted Rodgers back. Well, the Quinton thumbs down was because they got rid of Rodgers.
Right. But yeah, people are like, oh, Garrett Wilson doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. What Garrett Wilson probably doesn't like is the fact that Devontae Adams was brought in because he wasn't cutting it as a number one receiver. Like, I like Garrett Wilson as much as the next guy. I think he's a really good player. But this whole narrative that he's some sort of elite Justin Jefferson in the wings, it's not the case, guys. He's good, but he's not this amazing receiver. Who cares? Like, that's my point. Who cares? I don't know why people care so much.
Chad, I appreciate the passion, man.
Man, all right. Well, let's just hope for the best. I guess that's all we can do at this point, right?
That's it. Chad, good call. I agree with a lot of that. But they moved on. They just better be right. Because right now, you guys smell that? It smells like a 4-win season. Hopefully, it's the opposite. But, I mean, come on. Here's the thing, though. I don't want to diminish Garrett. Garrett's a great player. They needed another receiver anyway, though. But I felt that way going into the year. Right? Like, we were counting on Allen Lazard, Malachi Corey. They didn't have enough of a receiver. Mike Williams was washed. We were hoping he wouldn't be, but he came off the injury and did nothing. That was a big problem, too. The roster was not as good as we thought, but it was certainly good enough to win more than 5 games. We didn't think the defense would be that big of a disaster. The kicker cost him 3 wins. Greg Zuerlein was 35 of 38 2 seasons ago. He had the highest field goal make percentage in the NFL that season. And then this past year, he was horrific. Kakuka Lake Jet fan says, please wear your helmets or you end up like Beast. Beast doesn't need a helmet, man. You saw him make that catch twice. Arthur checks in with a super chat. We should have a top 5 D. Great running backs, good O-line, Fields quarterback, we win games, and maybe make the playoffs. Where are you getting this top 5 defense from right now? We have no idea what Aaron Glenn is as a head coach, what Wilkes is yet. I'm not going there just yet. There's talent there. See what they do. I hope you're right. I hope they have a top 5 defense. There's still talent there where if they make the right moves around the existing talent, they should be a lot better defensively. Top 5, though, I don't know. Hennessy says that guy would rather get rid of a 24-year-old Garrett and keep a 41-year-old Rodgers. That's not what he said. It wasn't one or the other. That's a made-up narrative. Jets kept Rodgers. You think Garrett Wilson is going to be able to force a trade and the Jets are going to trade him? No, not. It's under contract for 2 more years. Robert with a super chat. McMillan at 7, then bring in Jameis. Offense would be fun and miserable to watch at the same time. Yeah, at least they'd score points, though. I'm in. Fine. Bring me Jameis Winston. GTA writes in, people just assume the Jets will get a good quarterback and be good. Hilarious. Of course. So easy to find a quarterback, as we know. Jets Johnny, the commies were a joke before Jaden Daniels. Yeah, but who's the Jaden Daniels in this draft? Oregon likes Dylan Gabriel. Shocking. The guy who watched Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, whose name is Oregon Jets, likes Dylan Gabriel the best. Hey, I don't dislike him. I know he's obviously a shorter quarterback, which is why he's not going as high as he would if he was like 6'3" and like your prototypical QB1, but I like him. Spielman was telling me, not Spielman, Dimitrov was telling me when I was talking with him after our interview that he liked him a lot. My Holy King says, stop assuming the Jets will be bad. Well, don't assume they're going to be good then. I mean, so if I'm betting on history here, I should bet the Jets are going to be good or bad next year. My Holy. They haven't won more than 7 games in a season in a decade. So how about they win games? And I'll be glad to say I was wrong. That'd be awesome. Tired of saying I was wrong for betting on the Jets to be good when they failed me. Have destroyed my fandom and psychological belief. My Holy King, it's a new regime. Great. With an unproven head coach and an unproven GM. Neither of them have been in their roles they were hired to go into. And you have a first-time play caller. Tell me more about this new regime. You have no idea what they are. I hope they're great, but I'm not going to sit here and bet my life on them. Well, why would I do that? Adam is too cool is next. What's up, Adam?
Hey, man. We got to cheer up around here. Got a little depressing just now. But,
I mean, that guy, I'm not going to do the blind optimism if I don't believe it.
Let's not do blind optimism. Let's just frame the challenge, right? So one of the things I was thinking about, because he inspired it, was the plan has to be something to the extent of the hope is that the defense will improve more than the decrease in quarterback. Let's just assume that we're probably not going to get a quarterback as good as Aaron Rodgers next year. I think that's a fair assumption for now, unless something miraculous happens. So the hope is that the improvement in the defense, which really should rubber band back with the talent that's there, should outweigh whatever the decrease in play is from the quarterback position. I think that's part of the plan, if you read between the lines. So going back to the quarterback play question, food for thought.
Your dad's watching the show, by the way, Adam.
Hey, Dad. How's it going? So anyway, question for you. Let's just say we're able to get Derek Carr for a trade or Stafford for a trade. What would be the trade compensation for those two type of players?
Well, Carr, I think, is getting cut. I don't think you trade for him because of similar reasons why the Jets moved off of Rodgers with the cap ramifications. Mm-hmm. It's a similar thought process with Carr. Stafford, the Jets are not trading for. It's not going to happen.
Well, just humor me with the trade value, because I'll get to my point in a sec. What do you think? What is it, like a 4th round, 5th round, 3rd round? I don't know
for Stafford.
Don't know, because you get the cost too, right? The contract cost.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably at least a 2nd round pick.
2nd round pick. Okay, so maybe the plan is going to be a trade down, but what's going to happen is they're going to look for a veteran quarterback as a part of the trade down package, as opposed to getting a pick in return. And I think perhaps if that happens, and it may not be one of the big name quarterbacks, but it may be a quarterback that is on the bench and is serviceable. And maybe that's an option to back up Tyrod or vice versa in the meantime, and then use whatever assets are part of that trade for a day 2, day 3 quarterback pick after all. So maybe there's another answer that isn't just putting your hopes in number 7 the 7th pick overall and not like throwing a dart throw at, pun intended, at a quarterback that isn't in a particularly strong, reputable class. Maybe the answer is a trade down gets you a quarterback that's more serviceable than what's out there in the free agency class.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know who that guy is. I think it's more likely, Adam, they sign someone that's out there that's a veteran on the cheap to a 1-year deal for less than $8 million, and that guy competes with Tyrod with a rookie they draft at some point. I think that's probably what they end up doing.
Yeah, that's cool. You got time for one more question?
For sure.
Cool. All right. So I think I had heard that from Heavy and Boy Green about the Morgan Moses is not expected to come back. I was curious if, because now we're in an off season and not in the middle of the season, do you think they might be making a pitch to try and move AVT over to right tackle? What's in it for him is more money because he is heading into a contract year essentially, and it's probably easier to find somebody in the middle, in the interior in the draft at lower rounds than, a premier person on the edges of the offensive line. What do you think about that?
I haven't thought of it because obviously last year they were like, AVT is only going to be a guard, but now it's a different regime. I would be surprised, though. I think AVT's at his best at guard. He's now another year removed from his Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to go out there and be their guard, and they'll sign a veteran tackle, and they'll draft someone. If true that it's not going to be Moses, it's disappointing. I can't – here's the thing. That Connor Hughes wrote that Morgan Moses is not expected to be back with the Jets. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be.
That's true. That's true, too. I was just thinking maybe this is a signal about kind of relooking at AVT's value to the line and what the replacement value is for that position. And also, AVT had a tough, rookie contract with the injuries. Looking out for him, he has what you can't teach, and maybe he would have an interest in the tackle, especially when there's a monetary incentive for that position.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea if they did that. I mean, I just I'd be a little surprised. I think they're going to leave my guard.
Yeah, cool. Well, good catching up.
Adam, great call. The likable Adam is too cool, unlike his father, Alan Avital. Big fella says the bonus of drafting Dart is he doesn't run backwards. For now. Lucas with an Asmaniac super chat. Jameis will be a problem here. He's racist, turned black players against Carr in New Orleans. This is just a dumb comment. Aaron writes in Sanders equals playoffs 2025. I don't know about that one. They take Shador Sanders and he does that. Credit to you for being on a first, Aaron. Jesus Jerry says, do we have a replacement for Knoble to prank call radio hosts? We need to come up with a name. Well, Lane did coin Kyle Murray as a quarterback option from college, not to be confused with Kyler Murray, the Cardinals quarterback. Neil's already confusing the two. He says, Kyle Murray, at least make the call. Don't make the call. Arizona will say we're not trading him, and then we move on. He's not available. Where's the Kyler Murray speculation coming from? Burkinator says, I have a feeling that Glenn and Engstrom are going to try to bring in a guy or want to bring in a guy with Goff tangibles. I don't know. So just a pocket passer like Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins? Or Aaron Rodgers, who they had and they moved on from? Arthur writes in, we were bad last year because of coaching. That was certainly a big part of it. If you're assigning a pie chart of why the Jets sucked, coaching would eat up the biggest chunk of it. I guess Neil's on delay. He enjoyed that call from Chad. I keep getting asked questions about Kyler Murray. He's not available, guys. Last chance to get in here. Open phone lines. We're still accepting raffle entries for a signed Sauce jersey, signed Mangle jersey, signed Jermaine jersey as our top 3 prizes. If you're watching after the fact, another reminder that you can still enter the raffle. You see that button on the right-hand side? It's a thanks button. You can send in a super chat comment after the show. So if you super chat $20, that's 5 raffle entries for those of you who have reached out and said, I really want to participate, but I never see the show live. Another way to enter by hitting that button right there. Bill says, keep hearing a new staff wants a dual threat quarterback. Well, I mean, I think that's what every modern offense wants, but there aren't enough great dual threat quarterbacks where you turn down a quality pocket passing quarterback. Like Glenn had Goff in Detroit. He wasn't a runner. Glenn's as traditional, or Goff's as traditional a drop back as any quarterback in the league. I mean, come on now. Peter Casher says Fields. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to get him. Big fella. Do people really think Glenn would bring in Kyler Murray? He might. I mean, if he were available. So, no, he won't. A guy who's more concerned about Call of Duty than watching film. I mean, Kyler had a good year this year. I think he put a lot of that stuff to rest. NY Cursor. Am I the only one who wants to know how Jordan Travis is progressing? Don't you think if he was progressing well, his agent would have leaked it out? All this talk about Jets needing a quarterback, don't you think his agent would have leaked it to one of the reporters on the beat? Hey, he's been cleared. He's doing great. So people would be talking about him as a possible option for the Jets publicly, or teams might reach out and inquire about trading for him because they know the current regime for the Jets didn't pick him. Like, I hope he's healthy, but I think the fact that we haven't heard anything on him, I think that's almost more notable. Trying to like put my media hat on for a second here and connect the dots. Jamal, is Joe Burrow available? How about Patrick Mahomes? Can we get him? What about Josh Allen? You think the Bills will trade him in division? Or Lamar Jackson? At this point, I just can't wait for the Jets to sign someone so I could stop taking the dumbest suggestions from people. Like the Mac Jones one the other day kills me. Ladies and gentlemen, a shocking turn of events in the poll here. Dart throwers is now up 53% over dart dudes for what we should call Jaxson Dart. The Jet fans who want him, the Asmaniacs who want him. Vote in the poll. There's only 372 votes, and there's 518 of you watching. And since this show started, YouTube tells me 2,271 of you have at least watched a minute of this show. So not everyone is voting here. All right, don't lose your right to vote. All right. Rasta Dread is in the raffle. He has gifted 1 channel membership.
The freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Wild Wave is the recipient of the membership there. I think we're 5 members away, by the way, from a new emoji. So if anyone wants to gift a 5 spot, you'll get us to 20 the show, and that will clear the way for another channel emoji to be added. Taylor says, Milrow men, rise up. Remember Jalen Milrow was a thing for a little while? People in the fan base were talking about. Cincy Matt, B-Mac wanted Colt McCoy. Solid choice. You couldn't even hear B-Mac because his internet was such dog crap. Who has worse internet, Beast or B-Mac? It's close. Jay Luby, Dart Dummies. That's not bad. But I don't want to dismiss Dart because if the Jets do take him, I want him to be good, you know? Like Dart dudes and Dart throwers aren't, they're not negative names. They're supportive names. Someone likes the Dart Knights as a name. Is that you, Kyle Clifton? Nick Shine says, have to call anyone who wants Milrow, Milhose. Dart Vader. It's pretty funny. Benji has gifted a channel membership to join the raffle. The following listener is now a channel member from Benji. Bill Fawn. Bill, welcome aboard. Bill joined the Patreon for the year yesterday. He got 10 raffle entries by doing that. And now he's a channel member. Ladies and gentlemen, Beastbreaker has just written a comment that I think will electrify the chat. Hey, Jake, should I do Darth Vader voice? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Beastbreaker 666 $50 will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
Commander, tear this ship apart and you'll find those plans and bring me the passengers, and I want them alive. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Enough of this. Lord Vader, release him as you wish. This picketing is pointless. Now Lord Vader will command everything he has. We will crush the rebellion with one swift stroke. Now, Your Highness, we will find out the plans for your hidden rebel base. Now, Bubblefett, you take Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt after I have Skywalker. He's no good to me dead. He will not be intimidated. Lord Vader. Yes, Lando. What are you doing about Chewie and Leia and the other things? Put them on my ship. Get them ready for battle. Now, let's get down this. HugaHouse.com. Remember, 20% off on everything.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Man, I really felt like George Lucas himself was directing that scene we just watched. Tremendous job, Beast. Bravo. Give it up for Beastbreaker. Nailed it. Lord Starwave says Dartinators. Some of these are terrible. My Holy King, Derek Carr, with a bunch of car emojis and saying he's trash. It's better than some of the other options that have been suggested. Ralphie writes in, salient acting. I agree. Oscar the Grouch writes in, love him or hate him, you watched at Peter Castro. Peter Castro loves the Beast. Loves him. PA says, RIP James Earl Jones. Amen. Aaron says, Jake Asman for QB. No, thank you. I told you guys, the only job I want with the Jets, I told to Gary V when he buys the team one day, director of common sense. It's the only job I want. That and tickets to all the games. That's it. In a suite. That's all I want. Tom A says, Peter for QB. Put Castro out there, baby. My Holy King, Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Wars. Zachary says, why does it sound like Beastbreaker has a 1940s mic? Gator bought him a new mic. The problem is his internet connection sucks. I told Beast was on hold before the show started, so I put him on with Sabo, and we were telling him, hardline internet, calling from your computer. And Beast is like, I'll see what I could do. And then I'm going to get you some Fruit Loops. And I'm like, well, this is a lost cause to try and get him better internet. So I tried. I said, call it from your computer. Don't use your phone. It's not working. But it's not working. Bino says, Jacob, I've taken a hard look at your film and your mechanics are not fluid whatsoever. Is there film of me that exists playing quarterback that I'm unaware of? Peter Castro says, if Jake isn't on, I'm not watching. Hey, Peter, are you watching right now?
Now you're talking. It's showtime. HugoHouse.com, 20% off on everything.
Here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
Tremendous. Beast, don't worry about the Hugo House promo. I got it. I did it earlier. Promo code Asman, everybody. Save money. Get a hat. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check in with last year's leader of the Bauer Boys. Who's going to take the mantle and be this year's leader of the Dart Throwers, which right now has 53% of the vote?
Did somebody say Brock Bowers? Instead of taking Jaxson Dart at 7, we should take the pick and trade it to the Raiders for Brock Bowers.
I'm
a fan of the big fella, but he put this out there. He was the first person ever, and it was a while ago, that said the Jets should take Dart in the first round. I don't know if you recall this. And I like Dart, not in the first round, or definitely not at 7. He was the first person to put this out there in the ethos.
He might have been the first person.
He was. Because I thought I like the idea of Dart, just not at 7. At 42, I love it. Look, I've said this before. If they take Dart, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. He's not Zach Wilson, right? He's not Sam. He's not bad. He's not ready. So if they do draft him at 7, which I'm still not for, I would not take him at 7. But it's becoming, it's out there, right? Like they're flirting with the idea. He can't start week 1, and 2 weeks into his tenure, if the Jets are 0-2 and he's got no touchdowns and 4 picks, I can't have 40,000 Asmaniacs saying he sucks. He's the next Zach Wilson. I don't want to say he's a project quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that's ready day 1. And if he struggles out of the gate, I can't listen to 5,000 negative phone calls on how we missed on a QB again. I can't do it. Jaxson Dart's got upside. He could be good. I like him. I want you guys to know he's going to throw a healthy amount of interceptions, specifically his first year. It can't be he's Zach Wilson and we're still in September.
Well, he shouldn't play right away. That'd be the thing if you take him.
Is the fan base going to have the patience for that, Jake? If they take Zach Wilson, if they take Jaxson Dart, they're going to want him starting right away. They are. And if he sucks right away, if he comes out of the gate slow, if he comes out and plays like Zach Wilson his first 2 weeks, it's over for him. It's over for him.
He shouldn't play right away. I don't think he would play right away with this new regime. I actually think he would sit. But you don't listen to what the fans, if they believe Jaxson Dart is worth the 7th pick in the draft, then take him. But if they're wrong, that's a fireable offense.
Agreed.
So if they want to risk their entire tenure year 1, start the clock on it, then fine. Do it. You better be right.
So here's the question I want to put out there to you, but more the dart throwers. I'm going with dart throwers. I like that. How good does he have to be for you to think he warrants being taken 7th or anywhere in the top 10? How good does he have to be? Does he have to be a top 10 quarterback? Does he have to be in the top half of quarterbacks? 2 years from now, where does he have to be for you to say this warranted a top 7 pick? That's a high pick, man. That's a really, really high pick. How good does he have to be?
He's got to be a franchise quarterback, whatever that looks like. Top 12?
That's my top, the top 30.
Where's Jalen Hurts rank in the league? Because I don't think he's a top 5 guy, but you just watched him win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts top 10, top 12?
Top 10 borderline.
So that's kind of where I need Dart to be if I'm taking him that high.
If I said Hurts over Kyler Murray, people are going to take Hurts because he wins more. But when you really break it down, I don't know that Hurts is better than Kyler Murray. He wins more, so okay, we'll put him ahead of him. But like just as a quarterback, if you're assessing what they do, Hurts is a fine point. He's good, but like so is Kyler Murray, and that's kind of my point. The other thing is Carr. Look, you're right. There's worse options than Carr, but you know it's a better option than Carr? Aaron Rodgers, and that's why 2 years ago we took Aaron Rodgers over Carr. That's why we pursued Rodgers over Carr.
Did we? I don't recall.
You don't recall?
Yeah.
I think you do.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. You guys was not you, but y'all out there in the I hate Rodgers universe, or we're done with. Not even that they hate him, just we're done with them. You didn't have another option. Now we're gonna take a guy potentially who you know because you said out of your own mouth 2 years ago isn't as good as Rodgers, and now we're gonna go with that guy. And I agree, Carr's not the worst thing in the world, although he's kind of bad. Rodgers is better than him. So why are we going with a quarterback who's not as good as what we had?
I agree. So I don't have much.
I can't answer your question. Yeah.
Like I would have kept Aaron Rodgers for another year. I think it was a mistake.
Yeah. So my kind of guess here is we sign Fields and draft Dart, and that's what we go with next year. Fields.
I hope they get signed Fields because at least there's like optimism there that he could be good. I just don't know if they're going to spend that kind of money to get him. Like I could see Tennessee signing Fields. I could see the Raiders spending money on Fields. I could see the Giants paying a lot of money for Fields.
Yeah, the other teams would have more money because that's already hamstrung because of the cap hits. But I mean, the Jet job, if you're Fields, is way more attractive than the Titans or the Giants, isn't it? If the money is comparable, and then maybe it's not. Maybe there's other teams will blow Jets away and he'll sign there. But if the money is comparable, and the three teams that offered you a contract are the Jets, the Giants, and the Titans, the Jet job is the best job, right?
The Jet job, I don't know.
The Giants are a train wreck. Like,
They
the Giants
are,
so bad.
but the money, I don't know if the money's going to be comparable. But say it is, like, are you starting guaranteed if you sign with the Jets? No, you're competing with Tyrod. You go to the Giants, like you're probably penciled in as the automatic starter. Like, yeah, they're going to draft someone, but you're the starter until that guy beats you out.
Do you think? I still think Shedeur Sanders ends up on the Giants. It's just I don't know why. I've just always felt that way. I think Shedeur Sanders either they trade up or he falls to 3. I don't know. I just really think Shedeur Sanders ends up on the Giants. If they drafted Shedeur or Cam Ward,
I could see it.
Is it going to be the same thing? Are they going to have a ton of pressure on him to start those guys, especially Cam Ward because he's 24 already, right? Are they going to have a ton of pressure on them to start him right away?
Yeah, probably. We'll see. We'll see if they actually cave to the pressure, or he might be ready to play right away. If you take a guy third overall, or they trade up, he's playing right away. I
think Cam. I like Cam Ward to a degree. I don't think he's like the next great thing. I don't think he's going to have it, a phenomenal season. I think he's all right. I think he's decent. I think he's got some upside. I think he's played a lot in college. He's developed every year. He's gotten better every year in college. Cam Ward, I would say, of the three, if we're including Dart, I would say Ward is the most ready to start week 1.
Interesting comment here from Beastbreaker. When will Gary fix his photos?
When you fix your internet.
Yes.
I'm not really gonna fix.
Got him. I knew you were gonna go there. I just wanted to make sure. He makes a good point, Beast. He does make a salient point. Gary, will you fix your photos if Beast fixes internet?
It's yeah. But when I try to fix them, I'm just gonna make them worse, right? Like, I'm just gonna make them more crooked. It's really just a couple of them that are crooked that kind of take everything out of whack. I don't really have an eye for that. Yeah, you might want to talk to the missus. She could probably straighten them out. You want to bring her in? She could probably straighten them out. But I'm not. When am I going to fix those? Honestly, I'm not going to.
Mike Lopez with the super chat. I voted on the poll. How about Bullseye Boys? Not sure if the name has been decided. By the way, listening from the beginning now, keep up the good work. Mike, appreciate the support.
Let's just do dart throwers. Let's go with dart throwers.
Bullseye Boys doesn't make any sense for Dart. I mean, the whole point is that it's a play on his name. Unless I'm missing the joke here, which I don't think
Dart, bullseye, dart. You throw a bullseye in dart.
Yeah, but like,
yeah,
I don't know if people automatically pick up on that you're talking about Jaxson Dart, like you would if it's dart throwers or dart dudes.
I think dart throwers is good. I would. That's sufficient. Like that works. It's not insulting in any way. Like I was never once insulted by Bowers Boy, even when you tried to use it derogatorily.
No. The Bauer boys you guys were a cult. It wasn't derogatory. It was just acknowledging what you were.
And we were right, by the way.
So were the people that wanted an offensive lineman. Both franchises made the right decision.
Both franchises got a good player. I will say that. Whether both franchises made the right decision, I would push back. Both franchises got a good player. One may have gotten an all-time great player who will end up in Canton.
Beastbreaker just wrote in the private chat, I'll fix them for you.
All right. You want to come over here? You want to come to Fort Worth and fix it? I'll let you in. I'll make you lunch too.
What do you think lunch with you and Beast would be like?
I'll barbecue for him. I don't know how's the conversation gonna go. How's the sit down gonna go? I don't know. I bet you he's more normal in person than he puts off in his little act. I don't think he actually acts like a professional wrestler if he was at someone's home. It's just my guess.
Very, very good there, Gary. Unfortunately, when it comes to comedy, I got it all down. I can do Star Wars. I can do boxing, football, baseball, basketball. Name it all. I got it all. Let me just say this: there is an old saying: if the thunder don't get you, the lightning will. Just remember, you don't got this damn thing of a brain. You're gonna be. In the words of the great Bob Uecker, well, if that's not Shaquille O'Neal in left field there, he's going to need a big ladder to go get that ball because that ball's going all the way to South America, first class, and that's paid on a prepaid visa. Yes, it is. From the, do you remember the line where he said, Clue Haywood, the biggest Indian killer of them all, and it also leads in nose hair, if you remember that.
I do. Okay.
Hey Taylor, did you forget Clue Haywood coming up now? Come on, set the one up. Uh-oh. If that is not Shaquille O'Neal in left field there, someone's going to laugh because that was South America.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Just the internet, man. We're Beast. People are missing out on your greatness because your internet stinks.
Calls up his provider. They can probably fix that, without even coming up to your home.
He's calling from his phone. He refuses to use a computer. I've said this to him on air, off air. He doesn't listen to me. I give up.
Oh, yeah. Understood. Yeah. You can lead a horse to water, right? But you can't make him drink.
I know. Gator sent him a microphone. All he has to do is connect it to a computer, and he's going to sound great.
Gator. Is that what we need? We need more Beastbreaker and clearer volume. Is that what we need?
Yes.
Okay. No, I get it, because someone's going to send him to the hall, and that's $50 for you. And then someone's
$50 to send his ass to the hall.
And then someone's going to send you another 50 to get him out. So, yeah, that's $100 for you.
I'm a capitalist.
You got to do it. I don't blame you, Jake. I don't blame you.
No one sent you the hall since Mimosa, though. It's been disappointing.
I haven't been sent to the hall nearly as much. I think the whole time. So I started calling in November of 23. So what is that? About 15 months of calling in.
You've only been calling in for 15 months?
Yeah, I started calling in November of the previous season.
How'd you find the show in the first place? Just on YouTube?
Yeah, I Googled it. After one of Zach's gems. I Googled Zach Wilson sucks. Jets podcast. This is a little search bar, and guess what came up? You did.
Well, it's an honor that you were willing to click and give the show a chance.
Ben,
oh wow, Boomtown's got the official timeline. He says December of 23. You started calling.
Was that the first call? I probably started listening in November. And if you remember, I reached out to you on Twitter and I said, "Hey, I'm an old guy. How do I figure? I can't figure out how to call in." And then you like kind of walked me through it on Twitter and how I do it.
I don't even remember that.
Do you regret walking me through that and explaining to me how I call in?
Every day. No, I love it.
Every day.
You provide a lot to this show, Gary. It's gonna be fascinating to see what where you rank in the tournament and if you could make a deep run.
I know that you're not a part of the committee, but has the committee revealed their plans to you? You can be honest.
Yeah, no, I have the bracket, but it's not finalized yet. In fact, I just saw as I'm doing the show, there's a discussion right now on some names and where to put them. So it's not done yet. We have like an outline, but it's not done. There's literally a back and forth between Nick Shine, Sham, Gator right now during this show and Boom about the bracket.
Next year, can we? You air it afterwards, right? You air it after, but can they make a show of what went into making the ranking, like what the committee went through and the discussions that were had, and then after they released the rankings,
we thought about recording it. It was too late by the time someone said it because it would be hilarious.
It would make for great content. You have like a 3-part series, and then you build up to the 68th team, like who's the last one in, and then you get the committee meetings and who left out. And
so that's one of the things we just did it to 64 because all like the bracket stuff online, it was tough to do, like the play in with like. So we got it to 64. So there are some legitimate callers who are not in, and it's crazy, but we just had 2 good options, which is nuts.
It's gonna be fun, and then each day, each show for 32 days or whatever. 2 shows a day.
It will extend into April, like the actual NCAA tournament does, because I have a wedding on a Sunday. I can't do a show that day. Traveling another day, so but basically every show in March there'll be at least one matchup a day, and it will be decided in the poll how people vote who advances. And if you're quote unquote playing that day, you're invited to come on and make your case if you're available. We'll give notice to what matchups we're doing each day in advance.
That could be like testifying against yourself. You may want to remain silent. I'm probably going to want to remain silent. I think I've put enough good stuff in the bank. I'm just
BMAC should remain silent. Certain people, I think, will bring value to themselves if they call in.
See, like Allen's got it best. I think, letting time goes by reminds people. People forget how much they hate you. And Allen, I don't know if Allen's in it, but if Allen's in it, and he hasn't called in 2-3 months, whatever it's been, I think people will forget how much they dislike him, and they just may remember some of the comedic relief that he added and vote for him. Like Allen's best bet for sure would not to be to call in. That's his best bet.
It's probably true.
That's how he will do his best in the tournament.
Probably true. Oscar writes in, Gorman has been MIA since getting that money for his pizza at the movies. It's true. I haven't heard from Charles since.
Do you think next time he wants to go to the movies, he's going to call up all Uncle Jakey for some cash?
Probably. Another $60 on Venmo. Outrageous.
$60 for popcorn and a soda.
And he ended up getting pizza instead.
On your dime. How do you feel about that?
I feel taken advantage of, Gary.
You should. You should.
I do.
If I gave my kid $30 to go put some gas in their car and they came back with Coke and hookers, I'd be like, hey, this is not what I gave you money for. I gave you money to put gas in your car. I feel taken advantage of.
I don't really see the similarities between going to the movies and equating that with going to get gas and coming back with cocaine and hookers, but noted.
Yeah, it was just an analogy. Yeah. I'm saying you didn't get what I gave you the money for. I gave you the money for something specific for you to enjoy. And,
I see.
You did that. Yeah.
All right, Gary. Well, great job today.
Appreciate you, Jake.
Maybe I'll see you this afternoon.
Maybe.
Farewell.
All right. Have a good one, Jake.
You too. Goodbye now.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary 3D Boxing, everybody. Knobcraft Super Chat said, that was my kid, Gary. I'd be proud. Cincy Matt writes in, Beastbreaker's brain runs on Windows 98. You think he has a functioning laptop? Fair point. Burkinator says, Darty Pants. Another name for Jaxson Dart. Neil checks in with a $10 Super Chat. Thank you, Neil. Daniel Jones, same age as Fields, made playoffs, better stats for less money, same rusher, better completions, more accurate, similar teams that suck. No thanks to both. Fair. Personally, watching both, the eye test tells me Fields has more of an upside, but all right, if you don't want either, I'm not going to say you're crazy for that. I don't think Fields is great either. I'm intrigued by his age. Big fella, Jake, any traction on possibly getting Victor Green on the show after yesterday? No, unfortunately. He did follow me on Twitter, but I shot him a message. I haven't heard. Be fun to get him on. All right. Potentially our final call of the first show today. Buffalo Jet fan, by the way, joining us at 4. That'll be fun. Yeti. Close us out, Yeti.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
How
Oh,
are ya?
damn. Sorry, working. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Let's see, man. I really just wanted to get Beastbreaker down into his basement. Nobody believes me, but he's going to get better Wi-Fi reception down there. The copper pipes going across the roof, that's going to help him out. So, Beast, if you're still on, when you call him this afternoon, do that. Fuck, I don't know. What else were we talking about? I got sidetracked over here. I don't want to talk about Daniel Carr being our quarterback. I don't know. You got anything cool for me? Sorry. I'm sorry, dude. This is a crappy call. This is a really bad call. I'm sorry.
Yeti, I don't have much for you, man. Yeah,
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's
but I think you made a good point to Beast, potentially, if he has better Wi-Fi downstairs. That'd be huge.
Yeah, I'm a cable guy. People don't know that. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I'm a cable guy.
Yeti, the cable guy?
Yeah, I am a cable guy. And my name is Chris, too. And his name is Chris in the movie. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's an easy fix, dude. Just go down there. You got copper pipes. You got a lot of metal down there in your basement. It'll help your Wi-Fi. It will. When I say go to the basement, I think he thinks I'm trying to say, like, send him to the hole. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just like, dude, go down to your basement. Like, do that. But anyway. Cool, man. I'll end the show like that. I have nothing really awesome to say. I don't know. Go Jets, and fuck, our quarterbacks is what it is. We already know. I don't know. 5, 6, 7 wins next year. But either way, we'll ride it out. And I'll be here in 2026 as well. And we'll be talking probably the same shit. So love you, buddy. Later.
Yeti, excellent call. Yeti's hilarious. He's a cable guy too. Who knew? Yeti trying to help Beast. Hopefully, Beast is not on hold anymore, so hopefully Beast is still watching and he heard that suggestion. If not, next time you guys see Beast in the chat, tell him what Yeti suggested. Join the Patreon if you haven't. If you join the Patreon and you sign up for the year, you'll get 10 raffle entries included. Plus, you save 15% when you just sign up for the year. If you're already a Patreon member and you pay monthly, if you upgrade for the year, whatever you paid will be prorated, and then we'll get you in the raffle for 10 as well. Appreciate all of you. Best listeners ever. We're in Indy next week for the Combine, so the Dart conversation, we'll find out if it's actually real from people who actually study the draft and know what they're talking about. That and other options for the Jets, too. It's not just Jaxson Dart, of course. Folks, what a show. Thank you again to Robby Sabo, who joined us. Tune in to that if you didn't get a chance to watch it live. We're back at 4 when the Buffalo Jet fan joins us, which should be a fascinating conversation. All right. Go Jets, everyone. Let's win some games this year, right? Wouldn't that be fun? I sure hope so.
Breaking sports news just in from the Jake Asman Show. Tragedy struck the critically acclaimed show when one of Jake's regulars, the great Neil Pellizzeri, called in for what may have been his final appearance on the broadcast.
Let's go to Neil, who's up next. He was at the game yesterday. Neil, what do you got for us?
Listen, Jake, take your goddamn hand off that track mouse pad thingy. I've got 13 points at least I need to make before you cut me off. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hang up on all those other callers because I'm going to ramble like a drunk uncle talking politics on Easter Sunday. Oh, damn. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Jets got to get this offensive line figured out. Because it doesn't matter who we have on the center because these assholes can't hold the line. I don't mean, the fuck. I think there's a little fire over there. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, Jake, I might need you to call 911. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell's going on here? Oh, my Lord. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.
So, guys, it looks like Glenn, another defensive coordinator without head coaching experience.
Great.
Was that a fart?
Excuse me.
I can taste it on my tongue.
I think the second one. Excuse me.